Hey, it's story time again. Today I'm going to be talking about my mom's line. Like I said in my last video, I ended with one of my dad's lines, but this one I'm going to be talking about one line in particular. It's my grandmother's side, the McCabes. So I grew up, oh, the McCabes, you're Irish. Well, yeah, I'm Irish. I'm more Scottish than Irish, but I did the DNA and I found out. So a little bit about the McCabes. So they came over in the 14th century over from Scotland to Ireland as mercenaries for the O'Reilly and the O'Rourke clans in County Cavan. I'm probably going to butcher some words. I do apologize. Those McCabes, you know, were mercenaries. I heard they like to fight. But they did gain some recognition in 1691 from the Battle of Aughrim, Aughrim, Aughrim. After that battle, they did lose their lands. So they migrated over in the 14th century. So let's just dive in and we'll hear a little bit about my family.
Okay, so again, my family tree, there's myself, my mom, and we're going down this McCabe line. And we go all the way back over here to Hugh McCabe, 1731 to 1832. Then from him, John M., 1774 to 1821. John G. W., 1799 to 1886. Smith T. McCabe, 1830 to 1863. Then you have Isaac Vernon, 1859 to 1914. And then you have Jesse Ernest, which is my great-granddaddy. We're going to actually look at him first. He's my great-grandfather. He was born in 1882 in Gainesville, Texas, and he passed away April 26, 1955 in Artesia. We're going to look at his picture. Oh. But that is my my great-granddad, my mom's granddad. Him and his mom kind of raised him and his mom. We called him Daddy Pop and her mom, his wife. But they lived in Hope, New Mexico. And Mary Ellen was his mother, Isaac Vernon his dad, Rosalie Moore was mom. So we're going to run over here to Isaac because he's a pretty interesting fella. So Isaac Vernon, like I said, he was born in 1859 in Pecan Gap, Fannin County. And let me tell you, I'm going to look at this picture here. I don't know if I can zoom in on that. I don't know if y'all can see that. I'll just bring out my phone. So this right here is Isaac Vernon. And then this was Mary Ellen Rich and their daughters and some grandchildren. And then over here, this gentleman right here in the black is my great-granddad, Jesse Ernest. On the back of the picture, it says Lone Tree, New Mexico. Hello, Bertha, received your card a month ago. So this was a postcard, I guess, that was received. But the story, there's a couple of stories on them. They supposedly met on a wagon train maybe. Mary Ellen's dad was supposedly the cook, and that's how they met. But I also heard that she was a madam of a house of ill repute, in that he met her there. So there's a couple of stories flying around. So Isaac Vernon, like I said, he's an interesting person. In 1860, you know, you can see where he was there. In 1880, he was already married. And let's see what they called him, Ike McCabe. That's wrong. He was a farmer. And then it gets interesting. I don't know if you can read that. Let's look at this Fort Smith, Arkansas criminal case. This is pretty interesting. He, what's it, I don't even remember what year it was. Ike V. McCabe, Isaac Vernon. And then it says here that this happened in Fort Smith, Arkansas. And it was assault with intent to murder in 1894. That's pretty cool. It says the defendant McCabe got intoxicated, so basically drunk, and claimed to be a marshal. Said that Folsom had done something he didn't like sometime before and he would kill him. Jesse Folsom states that the defendant tried to, I don't know what that word is, have a row with him, and he went out and left him in the house. Defendant came out and overtaken him and said that he would kill him, and drew his pistol and grabbed the pistol and turned it from me, and it fired and missed me. Then Mr. Kelly states that defendant was drunk and tried to kill Folsom with the pistol, but was prevented by myself and Folsom and a man named McCabe. Defendant shot with a pistol, one shot, but we all three had hold of him and his pistol and kept it turned up, and it misfired. Okay. Oh, it gets better. Here it goes again. This was who did it, K.K. Kelly and Jesse Folsom. And there's some more of it. It went on for a while with an intent to kill, like McCabe. And that it happened 5 miles west of Okmulgee, however you say that. I'm butchering my words again as usual. This is pretty cool. I'll read quite a bit, and there's some more of the stuff. There's a subpoena for him. And then there's some letters of character of witness. This is to certify that I have known IV, which is Isaac Vernon McCabe, for about 2 years. And as far as I know of him, he is a hard laboring man. Have known Jesse Folsom also about 3 years and have known him as a thief. Woo! So there's that one. I talked a little bit about him. And this was signed, they believe that Isaac's innocent. And this was signed by, I can't even read it, Fred something. I can testify to this, and there's that. So then let's see here. We'll go to another one. He's pretty interesting. I've heard some stories about him too. That this character witness said that he had understood he's been arrested, charged with assaulting Jesse Folsom. I beg to inform you that I was present at the alleged time this occurred, and it was sworn and through prejudiced, and this man, Jesse Folsom, is a man whose oath is not good in our tribal courts, as he is a convict, and then there are several charges pending in our courts against him. And this is talking about that Folsom who said that Isaac tried to kill him. And then Robert Kelly is also no better. His oath is not good in our courts, and he, Robert Kelly, and Jesse Folsom have had this with sworn out in order to get the witnesses. But Mr. McCabe was once a U.S. Marshal, and that's the story I had also heard, and used to keep a close watch on after them. And they were supposed to be dealing in whiskey and some of their friends for whiskey. Mr. McCabe is known as a good, honest, straightforward man. Wow. My computer's going to be slow. This is pretty interesting stuff, and has a host of friends in the vicinity where he lives who will or would certify to this letter without hesitation, asking that this letter will have its effect and Mr. McCabe be released of the charges. This one here also says, I have known the Isaac Vernon for quite a while, and I have always found him to be a good, law-abiding citizen and a man who stands well in the community where he lives, and I think he meant nothing to anything contrary of the laws of this country. Then here's, oh Lord, there's quite a bit of character witnesses for Isaac Vernon. I don't even want to try to decipher that one. Let's see here. Where's Isaac McCabe? $500 and his appearance on the day of court. So I guess that's when they had him come in. And I do believe they released him. I didn't realize this jacket was so long. That's a pretty good little court case. Assault. We're still in 1894. Oh, look. Well, if I would have just went a little bit further, I could have actually read. Oh, this is the examination of his court case. And that was a cross-examination. So okay, so that's a little bit about Isaac Vernon, but we're still going to be on Isaac Vernon. Whew. We were also told that he was at one time hiding from the law. Who knows? This is so much fun for me. But so Isaac Vernon was buried in McCurtain County in Garvin, Oklahoma. This is my find a grave. And this is his headstone. Oh, come on. Load up. It's a woodsman of the world, which is pretty interesting. Can y'all see that? It's pretty cool. So there was actually a couple of newspaper stories about Isaac Vernon. So this one I'm not going to kind of scroll out and all that, but he got arrested in 1880 in Paradise, Texas, which is over by Dallas, Fort Worth. Supposedly a gentleman came up and was talking saucily to him in his front door, and he took off, and his father-in-law was going to go that's Robert Rich. That's who his father-in-law was. His father-in-law had started to follow him in order to have him released on bail, but learned of his escape, so Mr. Rich returned home. He got into some trouble there. And then over here in 1914, but you gotta think he died in 1914 too. He was State of Oklahoma versus I.V. McCabe, attempt to kill. But I don't know if this is my Isaac Vernon McCabe or my I.V. McCabe. But it kind of makes you think, with all the stuff he's been doing. And then let's go back over here. So on the newspaper from October 5th, this is the Garvin graphic. I don't know why it's not viewing. Open it up. It was published October 9th, October 5th. A second Women of the World camp was organized on Saturday. It's known as the Garvin Camp with 27 charter members. And look, I.V. McCabe was the manager on that one. Yep. I know this is probably boring, y'all, but this really interests me a lot. And then anybody who's kin to us, that's doing genealogy, this may be helpful to them. This is just showing that the monument, Isaac Vernon's headstone, was erected in memory of Isaac Vernon, all invited to attend. So that's pretty cool. And then, let's see here. And there's my, so Mary Ellen, this is my, again, my great-grandfather. Mary Ellen Rich, which was Isaac Vernon's wife, born in Lampasas, 1859 to 1949. She's the one that we had always heard that had a house of ill repute. And she also had tried to file for her citizenship with the Cherokee Nation. And we'd always heard that. And looking at the image of my great-grandfather, you can definitely tell that we have Native American. But it was denied. And when we were up in Oklahoma, my niece is up there. She lives right outside Oklahoma City. And when she was getting all the applications, she said a lot of Native Americans' citizenships were denied because they either renounced that they were Native American or they went off and hid in the hills, so they weren't put on the Dawes rolls. D-A-W-E-S, not Dawes, D-A-W-E-S, Dawes rolls. But yeah, so that's the McCabe line. Isaac Vernon's a pretty interesting character. He did he try to kill somebody? He shot at somebody talking saucily to him in his front door or in his yard or whatever it's called. But we'll never know. Never know. So maybe on my next one, I'm going to talk about my grandmother's, on my dad's side, my paternal line, I'm going to talk about her daddy, so my other great-granddaddy. So I hope this has been educational. I know it's boring for a lot of people, but this really interests me. And hopefully some McCabes out there will find it and it may help them some.